Genghis Show.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Genghis Show. And I'm Kerry Chan, your host, and this is my co-host, Genghis.
Hey everybody, how's it going, Pops? What are we up to today?
Oh, Genghis, I'm glad you asked. What we're going to talk about today is raw pet food.
There's such a thing as raw pet food? Please, Pops, you gotta tell me more.
Well, I'm glad you asked. There's a lot of confusion out there, and what we're going to do is we're going to talk to a very successful company here in North Vancouver.
All right, let's check it out.
Hey Genghis, how you doing, boy?
Hey, Ina, I just heard about Red Dog Deli, so I figured I'd come down to check it all out.
My story begins with a dog, just like many others. And about 13 years ago, I was volunteering at a shelter. And one day I fell in love with a dog named Adara. She was a giant breed Irish Wolfhound Great Dane cross. And I've never had a giant breed before, so I started doing research about what I can do to keep her healthy. I found out that they have pretty short lifespans, about 8 to 9 years, and they're prone to a lot of health problems, heart, organs, joints, whatever. So I started researching what I can do to try and keep her healthy and thriving longer. And that's how I found raw. A couple of friends of mine introduced me to it and helped me get her started on it. And within a week or two of switching her to raw from what she was on from the vet, she transformed into a different dog. And she started running, playing, just her energy level went through the roof. Her coat got nicer, her teeth got whiter. When I adopted her, the vet thought that she was about 3 years old based on how yellow her teeth were. And within a week of giving her bones and raw, they turned whiter and whiter, and they stayed nice and white pretty much throughout her whole life. And then, of course, the one benefit that everybody really appreciates, her poop got a lot smaller and less smelly. Yeah, people get surprised by that, but when you're digesting foods that are really natural for you to digest, you utilize a lot more of it, and they don't ferment as much in the digestive system. So most raw-fed dogs have much smaller poops, and they're much less smelly than when they're on something else. We tried to make the food at home I had one really big dog, another couple had 6 or 7 really small dogs, kind of the size of Genghis, which all ate, so lots of food between all of us. And we spent a couple times trying to make it, and found that it was really time consuming. We went through a couple of juicers, burnt out a couple of grinders, kind of went, this is really time consuming and arduous, and we are also having trouble finding ingredients like organs and things like that. So if we were having that problem, I started thinking other people have that problem. I did a little bit of research on commercial options and found that there really wasn't a lot on the market that met the quality standards that we were looking for. And that's kind of how our company was born, is we got together and said, well, if we can't find it, why don't we make it? If you think about how we eat and what we look for in our diet, we're hearing more and more that less processed foods, whole foods versus like supplements are better for us, right? Because we don't completely understand nutrition, but we know that the more we process things, the more we try to extract things, the less our body is able to cope with them. So the same thing applies for our pets. Whole, simple foods, and for dogs and cats, meat is the most biologically appropriate thing for them. That's what they're designed to eat. That's what they're designed to thrive on. So they can eat a lot of other things, but they really thrive on raw. Well, we've had growth of on average about 10% per year. And I think we've built a real trust with our consumers, and part of that has been about sticking to our mission statement, which was just to make a really simple, good quality food that people can trust and rely on. This is a very exciting time in the raw food industry. Over the last couple of years, the growth both in the US and Canada has been unprecedented. 30-40% per year kind of numbers is what we're hearing. And so I think that the more pet owners see the benefits, the more that word is just going to spread, because this really is a word of mouth type of a proposition. And so the more people see the benefits, the more they tell everybody. And now what we're seeing is veterinarians are hearing that message, and they're also starting to come on board and do more research, and realizing that maybe 1 or 2 cases don't make scientific study, but when they see so many pet owners seeing those benefits, they start treating it as a that there's something to this and we need to do more. People are treating pets as part of their family. They want to include them in all the activities and want to do as much for them as possible to keep them thriving longer. And I mean, pets don't live as long as we do. And for the sake of themselves and the kids, they want those pets to thrive and live for as long as possible. And so as they're trying to feed their families healthier, they're also trying to do the same or better for their pets.
Well, thanks for everything, Ina. So, free samples?
The Genghis Show.
Well, that sure was a good time down there at the Red Dog Deli talking to Ina, and I tell you, the free treats she ended up giving up weren't too bad either. But now we're gonna go talk to Richard Calland, who has a lot more information for us about raw pet food.
Hey Richard, how are you today?
Hi, Kerry.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Hi, we're here with Dr. Richard Calland, and we're going to talk today about raw pet food. So, Richard, what's your opinion on raw pet food?
I think it's a very health-giving way to feed, as long as one learns a little bit about it. But overall, it's much superior for continuation, maintenance of health, and even recovery from conditions. It's irrefutable in my experience. I've been doing it for a long time now.
I've also seen a huge explosion in the raw pet food market.
Yeah.
What is your viewpoints on that?
It works, and that's why people are turning to it, because they're not getting satisfaction, or their pet's not as well as it could be. And people observe that, and they become disciples almost of feeding raw food. Raw food is not all equal. There's many manufacturers of it, and as it's become popular, there are lesser qualities of ingredients that go in.
Are you saying that there's a difference in the quality of raw foods that are out there?
Yeah, like everything has steps of processing, and the quality of the ingredients, going right back to how the animals are raised, is absolutely critical to the quality and the availability of the nutrients in the meat, for instance. The protein in a raw food, in any food, is the expensive component. Because of the exploding popularity of raw foods, many people are getting into having their own company and perhaps don't understand nutrition fully enough to produce a quality item. Or a butcher or a large slaughterhouse may have leftovers, and they can sell it to the pet food market instead of throwing it out. Conventionally raised food and stock nowadays is lots of hormones and antibiotics. It's when they're raised in confinement, they require that. So that goes all into the food, which is then ingested, and is in fact the reason we have this antibiotic resistance problem in ourselves. 80% of the antibiotics that are sold to the agricultural industry.
And that's going to have an effect on our pets.
Oh, absolutely.
How would I find out more information about quality raw food?
The best sources are the small boutique pet stores that specialize in raw food. They have many different brands and price ranges, and they're usually pretty good. They're informed. And one point I do want to make is that raw food is the basis, but there can be many nutrients missing from it, and usually those are taken care of with some whole food supplements. And further to that, I don't think people really understand that we don't know what all the needs are of, say, a dog or a cat. We know a little more about humans, but we do not know what optimal levels of any nutrient is. But some of the prepared diets will be deficient in some critical nutrients, like, say, manganese or something, and you'd never know it. But by adding other foods that, everybody knows what health-giving type foods are, and you just include it from your own table or a whole food supplement of some kind, and in the variety, nutritional needs are usually met.
So what you're saying is that we should just do our research and make sure that we feed our pets some really good, solid, healthy food.
Yes, and not to stress over it, because it's kind of common sense if you let yourself get into it. But I think the pet food industry has trained people to believe that they're not capable of feeding their pet, that they must use their food, and it's just not true.
Oh, great. Thanks very much for all your information today, Richard.
Thanks.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
The Genghis Show.
Wow, Dr. Richard Calland, I like that guy. He's so cool. Yeah, what we do next?
Oh, hey, you know what? Why don't we go talk to Bonnie?
Oh, Bonnie Sainsbury, yeah. She's a social media expert. Yeah, let's check that out.
Awesome.
This is Bonnie Sainsbury, and this is Pet Social. So today I'd like to talk about social media and how it can help pets. And certainly a number of the shelters all over the world have pets that are adoptable. They talk about pet rescues, and they're also advocates for pets. So that think about the good that's being done by social media, by Facebook, by some of the other social media channels, and not just the cute kitty picture or the cute puppy picture. Actually read the article and take a look at some of the shelters and some of the adoptable sites that are available. Certainly the SPCA here in Vancouver has a very active web presence, and Nat and Drew's Facebook web page or Facebook page has pets from all over the web in the Lower Mainland available. So Nat and Drew's web page, and take a look at the SPCA's webpage for their adoptable pets. This is Bonnie Sainsbury, and this is Pet Social.
The Genghis Show.
And now, we're gonna go check in with our own Dr. Doolittle, Hayden Clewes, who's down at the SPCA talking with Kim Monteith about a beautiful cat named Marley.
The heart-rendering story of a three-legged cat. Hi there, I'm Hayden Clewes, and we're back at the SPCA here in Vancouver. And we're talking to Marley right now here, and we're talking to Kim, of course, and talking about Marley. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about Marley here?
Well, Marley is your average domestic short-hair kitty, tabby with a little white. He's got 3 legs. I think he's about 3.5 years old. Marley, but he came into us last year before Christmas. Oh, and he's off wandering around. 3 legs doesn't slow him down. That's
I was
for
gonna
sure.
say, yeah, geez, no kidding. Eh?
He was found here in the city, unresponsive, barely moving, barely alive. Our night emergency person picked him up, took him to emergency, and they were able to take care of him overnight, and then he was transferred to our clinic. And we think he was hit by a car.
I was gonna say, that's what you're saying.
So he lost his leg because they tried everything first, to see if they could save it, and they couldn't. So he went into foster care while they worked with him, and now he's looking for a home.
Well, even so, we're sitting right here, though he's an adventurer. He's a very patient little guy. I'm gonna say, sitting in front of camera, jumping around here.
Doesn't slow him down. I don't
No.
think he's gonna have a problem traveling around.
So how long exactly do you say has he been in the SPCA?
Just before Christmas, so
Before
December,
Christmas.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because they did try and save his leg, and then they couldn't, so he had to go through foster care. Again, we try to take care of them before we actually adopt them out, to make sure all the medical's taken care of.
And how long of a recovery process is it exactly when a kitty cat has to go through something like that?
Once they remove the leg, it's a young cat like that, no time at all.
Seriously?
Yeah, like it's not like they have to have kennel rest or anything like that. They seem to, depending on the cat, they seem to adapt pretty quickly.
And how often would you say you have to do something like a serious emergency operation like that on a kitty cat that comes in like this here?
It just depends,
Depends, yeah.
Sometimes, cats, we call it high-rise syndrome, where they fall out the windows, in the summer especially.
I was gonna say, actually, especially in Vancouver here
Yeah,
too, in this
yeah.
branch, I imagine you see that probably quite a bit.
It's hot, you open your windows, out kitty goes.
Oh.
Sometimes they'll injure themselves where their pelvis is broken, and sometimes the vets, depending on what the break is like, it's cage rest.
I see,
right?
absolutely.
Or sometimes it's surgery, and then it just depends on the recovery time. This guy, though, I just don't understand why he's here.
I don't understand either, but I gotta say, must be a great recovery time with Marley here, because he's full of energy and he's kind as ever. He's full of cuddles. Well, he's definitely open and available for adoption now, and he's doing very well here at the Vancouver SPCA.
No dogs, though. He doesn't care for dogs.
He's not a dog person, though. No, not a dog kitty. Not a dog kitty.
No.
Well, thank you very much, Kim. Oh.
The Genghis Show.
Hi everyone, don't forget you're also part of the show, so please send us all your funny stories, your pictures, and video clips.
I don't know, I just gotta try and
Are you okay?
feel something to eat, I think, right?
It's been a very, very tiring day for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, of course I'm tired, man. Jeez.
I wish I could sleep all day like you.
Yeah, well, there's nothing stopping you.
Are you gonna be part of our show now or what?
Do you go get some of that raw pet food?
Well, why don't we go get you some raw food now?
Ah, now you're talking. There we go. That's right.
Thanks for watching the Genghis Show. And on our show next week,
Whoa. Hold the phone there, Pops. We still got more to show.
what else is left?
We got some pet moments left.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Sorry.
Let's watch.
Incredible pet moments.